Welcome to my channel. This is the sixth video of the chapter Classes and Objects. If you have not watched the previous videos, the link of the previous video is put in the description part. For more updates, do subscribe my channel. In this video, I'm going to take two different concepts. One is array as a member of classes, and the second one is array of objects. As we know that array is a collection of homogeneous elements. So now there arises a question, do we have a provision where an array can be made as a member of a class? Yes, it is possible where your array can become a member of the class. So here is a simple example for that. I have created a class called as a student where you have two different data members. One is the register number. The other one is the marks of a student. So generally what we do is when we declare it as, so I would like to declare a data member. One is the register number. The other one is generally what we do is we declare it separately as M1. I would like to read a marks of a student of three different subjects. So I declare it as M1, M2 and M3. So what happens in case if I have to store 10 different subjects marks? So now I cannot keep on declaring it as M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, M6, M7, M8, M9, M10, which becomes a cumbersome process for me. In order to avoid this, I'm going to take the help of a array, declare an array and make your array as a member of a class. So this is what I have done here. So rather than declaring it as M1, M2, M3, I have declared it as int M of 3. Now I have created an object called as an S. Now since your data members of the class student is declared under public, now I will be able to access the members of your class using a dot operator. So now what I do is I'm going to take the help of your S and then dot operator, and I would like to store a register number of a student. Let the register number of a student is 301. This is the register number of the student. Likewise, I would like to store a marks of a student which is M1, M2 and M3. So generally what we do, if I don't declare it as an array, so I have to take this as S1, S dot M1 is equals to 10, S dot M2 is equals to 20, S dot M3 is equals to 30. So that is, this is we write when we declare our members like M1, M2, M3 separately. But what happens? How do I access when I declare a member of a class which is an array format? So here we have, so the same thing can be written as S of M of 0. As we know that when we declare an array, the index of an array always begins with 0 and ends with n minus 1. So the first index of your array is M of 0, which can hold the marks of a student which is 50. Likewise, S dot M of 1, where the marks of a student is 60, and S dot M of 2, where the marks of the student is 65. So this is an alternate form of this particular format. Rather than declaring as M1, M2, M3 and access it individually, what we do is we are going to make an array as a member of a class. With the help of its index value, we will be able to store the marks of a student. It is as simple as that. See, when you are able to perform a manipulations on your ordinary array, the same kind of arrays can be used and make it as a member of a class and perform whatever the operations that you can perform on any other data members. So if you are performing some operation on a register number in a class called as a student, so you can also perform some of the operations even an array which is a part of your class called as a student. So the operations or the manipulations which are performed on the data members, this similar kind of operations can also be performed on the array which is a part of your class. So the next concept is array of objects. So what is this array of objects? Basically, you can call it as it's an element of an array which can be of type class. So we know that a type, if I take A and I declare it as an integer of size 5, see here, I have created an array of type called as an integer. That means you can store 5 different elements, that is A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3 and A of 4, and where you can store all the elements which is of the type integer. So I can store 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now you have an array of type called as an integer where you will be able to store the elements. Now, is it possible wherein your array elements can be made as a type of class? Yes, it is certainly possible where you can make your elements of an array can be made as the type called as a class. So that we will see with an example. And remember that the operations that you performed on an ordinary array can also be performed on the array of objects. Now, how do we create this array of objects? We will take an example. We will run the program and see how it is going to execute and how you can implement array of objects in our program. So here is a simple example which I have taken. I have created a class called as a book. Now, I would like to read a name of a book. So certainly the name of a book is a string variable. So name of a book is a string variable. So hence I have created a member as a name. So now this acts as a string variable. Now I would like to create and I would like to read a name of a book, and I would like to read and print what is the cost of the book. So this is my task. Now how many books I would like to read, whether it is one book, whether it is 2 books, whether it is 3 books, we do not know. Now, for example, if I would like to read an information about a book, say I would like to read information of 2 different books. So I am going to create an object. So this should be a book. It's not student. It should be a book. I have created an object using the class called as a book. And so now I am going to declare an object called as a B. Now B is an object where I can read a name of the book B and store that book name as C++. Now the cost of the book, let the cost of the book is 250. So now this is an information of one single book called as B. Now what in case if I would like to read it where I have 100 different number of books in my shelf, I would like to read the name of those 100 books and read the cost of those 100 books and print it. It's not possible where I can keep on declaring as book B1, B2, B3 and keep doing this till it reaches B of 100. So this is not possible. It becomes a cumbersome process for a programmer. In order to overcome this cumbersome process, we are going to make your array as an object. So this is how you make your array as an object. So if I would like to read an information of 100 different books, so I'm going to declare an object called as B and make 100 books. This indicates that you are going to read an information of 100 book information. 100 different books. That's the name of the book and the cost of the book. So here I have taken B of 2. So how do I read this? So this is very simple. We take the help of an index. So now if I would like to read an information of 2 different books, one is B of 0, that is name. So name is C++, and then B of 1. Again, the name is, let me call the name of the book is Python. So very similar to that, I can also read the cost of the book B. So that is B of 0 dot cost. So this is a cost of the book C++. Let me assume that it is 250 rupees. Now I'm going to read the cost of the book Python, which is stored in B of 1. Then let the book cost is 350 rupees. So this is what we call it as array of objects. An element of an array can be of type class. You can declare it as an object. An array can be declared of a type called as an object, of the type called as a class. So you have a type called as a class, and you have declared your array of type called as a class. So this is what we call it as a array of objects. So let me take a simple example. Let me execute that particular program and see how you can implement your array of objects. So here is our compiler. So let me declare. Before I declare, I'm supposed to include the header files. Let me include the header files iostream.h, and I shall also include console input output.h. Now, as I told you, I am going to create a class called as a book. I'm going to read an information of a book here. Now, let me declare my data members under the private so that it cannot be accessed outside the class and it can be accessed only inside the class. And I would like to read the book name, and I'll declare it as B name. And it is a string variable. Since it's a string variable, I'm going to make it as an array. So now I would like to read the cost of the book. So now my members of the class is done. One is the book name, the other one is cost. So let me read this. I'm going to create a member functions, that is void read, this one member function which will read. Let me read it. I'm going to give a message called as enter the name of the book. Name of the book. So put NL so that your cursor will be moved to the next line and read this. So what is the member function that I'm going to name, member name which I have to read? It is book name, B name. I'm going to make it as B name. So now let me read the cost of the book. Enter the cost of the book. So we have a data member called as a cost of a book. I'll read it using your scene, and there we go. We have read the information of the book. One is the book name, the other one is the cost of the book. So close it. Close the member function, that is read. Then we will go ahead with printing the information of the book what we have read. So I'll call the member function as print and display the information. So name of the book is what, I'll just close this, and the name of the book is stored in a data member called as name. I will print it and use your endl to move your cursor so that you can print your cost in the next line. Now cost of the book. So that is stored in the data member called as cost. So now we have completed a member function, defined the member function called as a print. So what I have done is I have created two different data members. One is the book name, which is a string, and the other one is the cost of the book. I'm going to read it using a read member function, and I'm going to print the same using the member function called as a print. I have defined it, what should be the function of the read and what should be the function of the print member function. So now I have defined your member function within the class. So I don't have to define it outside the class. So the next and the foremost and the important thing what we have to do is to close your class definition by enclosing with a semicolon. So do not forget to put a semicolon. This indicates that you're going to end the class definition. Now it's time to create a main function, and now it's time to create your array of objects. So now I have to read an information of 3 different books. So let me take the help of your class called as a book, which is a type. Now I'm going to make use of declare an object and make this as an array which can store an information of 3 different books. And I'm going to declare one more variable called as an I, where I acts as an index for your array. As we know that index or a subscript of an array always begins with 0 and ends at n-1. So to access your objects in terms of an array, I definitely need an index. So I have created this I as an index. So now what I do is I'm going to make use of your for loop for I equals to 0. Since I need to store an information of 3 different books, I is less than 3 and I plus plus. So we do this, we invoke your member function called as a read 3 times with the help of your for loop. So now it's time to invoke your member function, where you can perform a read operation which reads the information of books 3 times. B of I dot read. Now this will read 3 times. And meanwhile, you are supposed to also print the information of your book, which is I equals to 0, I less than 3, because you are supposed to print it for 3 times, because we have read it 3 books information and I am supposed to print the information of 3 books. I plus plus, then B of I. Now I'm going to invoke your member function called as a print. So this is going to print the name of the book and the cost of the book, which is related to 3 different books. Now use your getch, the semicolon, and close your main function. Now it's time to execute your program. Before I execute the program, let me recall what I have done here. I have declared your header files, iostream and console input dot out header file. Now I have created a class called as a book, and where I have created 2 different data members. One is the book name, the other one is the cost. So name of the book and cost of the book. Then I have created 2 different member functions. One is the read, the other one is the print. I have defined it within the class definition, where read is a function which will read what is the name of the book and what is the cost of the book. And whatever the information that you read with respect to the book, that is book name and the cost, I'm supposed to print it. So I have taken one more member function called as a print, which will help me to display the contents of your books. What is the book name and what is the cost? So once we have done with that, we are supposed to close the class definition. Now create your object with the class name called as a book. And now your object is an array of objects. Rather than making it as B1, B2, B3 and reading it 3 times, what we can do is we can go with array of objects and take the help of your index. I have declared an index, that is I, then read using your for loop and print the same using your for loop. So let me check whether I do have some errors in my program. I will first compile it. I'll press Alt F9 for it. Yes, my program is free from bugs. I don't have any errors in the program. So let me execute this by pressing Control F9. I'm going to make use of your Control F9 and run my program. Yes, you have your output screen here displaying as enter the name of the book. Let me enter the name of the book as C++. Now it will ask to enter the cost of the book. Let me enter the cost of the book as 400 rupees. Now this is an information of one book. Now it will ask you the information of two more books. Now we are supposed to enter the information of the second book. Now it is asking for the second time because I have given that I am interested to store the three books information. Now I have done with the first book. I'm going to store the information of the second book. I'm going to make use of another name of the book called as a Python. And now it will ask what is the cost of the book. Enter the cost of the book. Now the cost of the book is, let the cost of the book is 450 rupees. Now we have read the information of two different books. Now it is time to read the information of the third book. Now it's asked for enter the name of the book. So let me enter the name of the book as Java. Now it is asking for the cost. Let me give the cost of the book is 350. Now I have done with reading an information of a book. One is the book name, the other one is the cost. So I have read the information of three different book. One is C++, the second one is the Python, the third one is the Java, and I have stored what is its cost. Now we will see whether it prints or not. I'll just press enter key. Now you can notice we have displayed all our information of our book. So the name of the book is C++ and the cost of the book is 400. The name of the book is Python and the cost of the book is 450. Like this, you can read any number of books. You can store any number of books that you would like to store in using your array of objects. Your array of objects is as simple as that, where you can store an information of any number of elements or any number of objects that you need. So it is very simple. Rather than declaring it as separately like B1, B2, B3, B4, and if you would like to store 100 different information of 100 different books, it becomes a tedious job. It becomes a time consuming job. So what we do is we take the help of array of objects, declare your array with the type of class, then make it as array of objects and perform whatever the operations that you would perform like in any other ordinary variable. Thank you.